Hello, this is Kelly Acheson coming to you from Menasha, Wisconsin. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Mother's Day card using the Mother's Love stamp set. And this has a little twist to it. It has a detachable bookmark. So, let's get started. First of all, I have taken a piece of strawberry slush cardstock, and this is one of our in colors that is retiring. Melon Mambo would work fine too if it's no longer available. I've cut this at 5.5 by 10 and 11/16. So, first thing I'm going to do is score my card at 4 1/4, and I'm using my Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer. And then we need to perforate for our bookmark. So I'm going to pull out my extender. And we have this nifty rotary blade edition for the Stampin' Trimmer, and I'm going to show you how to use that. This comes up and it simply pulls out down here, lift it up, pull it out, and it just comes unhooked like that. There are two little notches on the end of our paper cutter that it goes into. And now I'm going to attach the trimmer blade, and that goes in here. Oops, I've got it backwards. A little tube, and it fits right down in here. You just pull it a little bit and close it. Now, one thing I noticed when I went to use this rotary edition is that this little piece right here comes out. These are replaceable, and they have different sides to them. There's two sides with a channel and two sides that are just flat. For the rotary attachment, you want the flat side. And if you ever get one of these paper cutters and you find that it doesn't cut right, it's probably because you need the channel side of this piece up to cut properly. So now that I've got that in there, I'm going to bring back my piece of cardstock. Here's our 4 1/4 inch score line. And this also needs to be cut with the perforating blade at 8.5. Now let me show you how this works. These blades, let me find my little blades here. We've got several different blades. We've got the cutting blades. You can get cutting blades with this. We've also got the rotary cutting blade. This one is retiring. We've got a little scallop blade and also a tiny wave blade. So there's several different attachments here. The three of these are only $3.95. The cutting blades, you get two of them for $5.95. So they're very inexpensive. Oh, and one other thing. This rotary edition for the Stampin' Trimmer is only $12.95. So also not an expensive item. So you have all these little blades, and they show you on here. This, for example, is the scallop one. I don't know if you can see that, but it shows the scallop. This is the cutting blade. It shows nothing in the middle of the two lines. And then we have the rotary blade. And, I'm sorry, the perforating blade. That perforating blade has little notches there that shows a perforation. So, the blade has a rounded edge, and that rounded edge just slides right down inside of here. There's a rough edge and a smooth, a rough side and a smooth side. The smooth side goes to the inside. You just pop it in there like that. Really simple. Okay, I did do some practice runs when I first used this little tool just to get the hang of it. It does take a little bit of time to figure out how much pressure you need to use. But you just push this down, and then we're going to take it, press it down, and you're going to run it over your cardstock. And you can see that I have a perforated cut there. And that's the part that's going to tear off when you send your Mother's Day card, so they can use that for a bookmark. The nice part about this Stampin' Trimmer also is that I can keep all my extra blades right inside these little containers in the back. So that works out great too. Okay, let's get going on our card. Now, we needed to use the scallop topper, a tag topper punch, and so this is my perforated edge, and I need to be able to see that once I get it in my punch. So I'm just going to take my paper snips and snip a little edge here so I can see exactly where that is. I'm going to turn my cardstock over. Here's my bookmark. And I'm going to turn over my punch, and I'm going to push this in here right in the middle of my card. And now I'm going to slide it down. And I'm sliding it down so I can see that little perforation line. That's where I need the edge of my punch to line up at. And there it is. And now I'm going to punch it. And you should be almost on the edge of your cardstock here. Just going to take my snips and snip that off. And then because of the perforation, I've got some frayed edges here, and I'm just going to trim those up a little bit so it looks nicer. Okay, here's our card. So we're going to fold on our score line, and I'm going to leave my my bookmark open for right now because you don't want to bend this back and forth too much because it will tear off with too much if you play with it too much. So I'm just going to leave it like this for now, and we're going to get started on the rest of our card. So I have a 2 by 4 3/4 inch piece of Whisper white cardstock, and we're going to put that into our tag topper punch and punch that out. And then I have a piece of black that is 4 by 5 1/4 and a piece of white that is just 1/8 of an inch smaller than that. So, oh, and I need one more piece for the inside of my card. So same size, I've got the same size here. All right, let's get to stamping. We're going to be using the dictionary background stamp. I'm sad to say that this one is retiring. You have until May 26th to order it. Actually, it's available to June 2nd, but if it runs out, Stampin' Up! Will not be making anymore after May 26th. So, background stamp. You can read this. I don't know what it says. There's just a bunch of mumbo-jumbo words on here. But you want to make sure that you have this right side up when you put your pieces together. So, smoky slate ink. And this is the proper way to use one of these background stamps. You want to leave it on the table, ink it up, and then you're going to bring your layer to this stamp. And then I've got just a scrap piece of typing paper here. When you rub on here, you don't want to be using your fingers like this. You're going to get blotchy images. It's a nice flat hand. And that's what you end up with. It looks beautiful every time when you use it properly. I just ran into a lady who said she didn't like these background stamps. And I said, oh my gosh, why would you not like them? Well, she was trying to stamp with them like this. They don't work like that. They work like this. And that's the benefit of coming to classes. So you learn how to use all these things the best way. And again, nice flat hand. And we're going to pull that off of there. And here's a nice light background. Okay. I'm going to bring in my piercing mat. This first because I think we need to leave room for those. So we're going to stamp Nobody Loves Like a Mom. And this is from the Mother's Love stamp set. I love the images in here. They're kind of a little quirky, and that suits my personality. Next, I'm going to take the big outline flower, and I'm going to ink that up in Memento ink. And we're going to stamp that right over here on the side. Nice firm pressure. Beautiful. And then I want some flowers. So, oh, let's do the words on the bookmark next. And we put on the front, Nobody Loves Like a Mom. And then we're going to put on the bookmark, and no mom deserves more love than you. How sweet is that? I've thought about this stamp set quite a bit. I think that you could use it for any mom. I could send this to my stepdaughters who are mothers. I could send it to my neighbor. I could use it for anybody. So now I'm using Strawberry Slush ink, and I'm stamping some background flowers just to add some color. I'm going to put one right down here. I made this card for a swap, so I've already made about 30 of these. Does make you go a little faster. There we go. And one more here. Okay. looks great. Now, I wanted different colors in my leaves and my petals for this stamp, so I chose the Pear Pizzazz and Strawberry Slush markers. And again, this is part of the two-step stamping process. I'm going to use my marker. You want to make sure you lay your markers down on their sides. Whoops, that's a flower. So lay your marker down on its side when you use it on stamps so that you keep that tip nice for other coloring purposes. And there we go. You want to huff on your stamp, much like you would to clean your glasses. Just going to lay this right down on here and stamp it right in place. It turns out perfect every time. I love that. One other thing that I'd like to do is I'd like to add a little embellishment to this flower on the front. So I'm going to take a rhinestone, put that right in the center. And then I also have taken some of our thick baker's twine and I've tied a little bow. And I'm going to attach that with a mini glue dot. And I'm kind of folding my mini glue dot in half here. I'm going to put it right there, and that just adds a little something to the front. We're going to glue this together using the multi-purpose liquid glue. It is my favorite adhesive. Gives you a little wiggle room. If you happen to get something crooked, you can move it around a little bit without peeling it up. And then I've also got the Happy Mother's Day stamp here from the Teeny Tiny Wishes set. I'm going to leave this card blank. I think I have enough Mother's Day cards now that I might like to use this for something else, but you could certainly stamp that in the middle. Here's my card base. So this with the black layer is going to go right on the front. Oops, see how I kind of move that around? You can get it just right by moving it. That was kind of a mistake, but here's some more. Right in here. And then for your bookmark, we're going to move that down just a tiny bit because my area here is a little bit bigger than my bookmark. But I want to make sure that as I'm doing this, I leave that hole. You have to be able to poke your baker's twine through your hole right there. So I've moved that down a little bit. I think this is perfect. And then I'm taking, let's see, we've got 5.5 inches of the black and white regular baker's twine and 5.5 inches of the Strawberry Slush thick baker's twine. And I've got a flosser here. You get these from your orthodontist when you have a permanent retainer. And they work perfect. Folded my ribbon in half, and now I'm just folding it over this little loop. It's like a sewing machine needle threader. And I'm just putting it through the hole. I'm going to hold on to one end here and pull this through. There we go. And then I'm going to take my ends and put them back through the loop. I believe they call this a library bookmark tie knot. Probably the hardest part of your card, right? There we go. Be gentle, this is just paper. Okay, so we've got that there. And one thing I'd like to tell you is you can put your bookmark, instead of putting it here so that when you close your card it looks like this, you could also put it so that, whoops, that's the same one. You could also put it so that it looks like this. So you could put it on the back side of your little bookmark tear off. Okay? So there we go. Here's a wonderful card. This fits in a regular size A2 envelope. And what a fabulous card to send to somebody.